Hi, in this video I want to talk to you about the top foods that cause weight gain, and I think you may be surprised what I'm about to say. Hi, I'm Dr. Joe with 2 Minutes to Better Health. All right, well, let's find out. First of all, to understand this, you have to know what happens when you eat. When you do, you have an increase in insulin. No matter what you eat, whether it be a fat, a protein, or a carbohydrate, there's going to be some insulin response. Carbohydrates cause the most. So when we have carbohydrates, let's talk about those mostly. The glucose that's in your blood has to get out. Your cells are going to use it for immediate energy. That's the first step. That's the primary goal of food. Number two, the liver is going to convert a lot of that, the extra glucose that it can't use right away, as stored energy that can be used pretty quickly. It puts it in and takes it out pretty quickly. Secondly, body fat storage. That's huge. Okay, so if the body cannot use it right away or store it in the liver, it's going to store it as body fat. That's called weight gain. Ultimately, we don't want much of that, so higher insulin responses are going to cause more weight gain, and that's the purpose of this video. Additionally, insulin also has another role, which it will actually cause fluid retention, and therefore more weight gain will come as a result of that. So that's another reason why people gain a lot of weight by consuming a lot of carbohydrate foods. It's not just the calories, it's also the fluid retention that comes from it. And fructose elevates insulin the fastest. This is important. Fructose is a sugar. Okay, sucrose is basically table sugar broken down into glucose and fructose, but fructose has the highest immediate response of blood sugar spike because it goes right to the liver, and therefore insulin is going to elevate the fastest. So it's important to understand the foods that cause the highest amount of fructose in our body to be consumed are the ones that are going to cause us to gain weight the most, and it's a form of sugar, as we said. So what happens here? First of all, the third National Health and Nutrition Surveys, this is the results from that. Really interesting information. 8% of the dietary foods went towards what they diagnosed as other. Second, 8% bread and pastas. A lot of people think that would be one of the top foods that are going to cause weight gain. Well, in terms of the fructose amount, only 8% of the diet from that. 8% vegetables. Yes, vegetables do have some of this. Much slower metabolizing because there's a lot of complex carbohydrates, but some fructose in that. 11% from candy and sweets. Not the primary reason that we gain weight, but it definitely contributes to it. 11% from grain-based desserts. So those would be the cakes and the cookies and things like that. 18% from fruit. So more fructose is gained from fruit in our diet than there is actually from desserts and candies. Pretty interesting. But by far the number one and most important is beverages. 31%, almost 1/3 of all of the fructose in our diets as Americans comes from drinks. Does that seem like you? A lot of people say, I don't drink much, just water and a couple other things. Well, how about any of these things? Fruit juice, we talked about this, tons of fructose in that. Coffee, if you're adding sugar to it, there's your fructose. Proteins, a lot of whey proteins and other protein drinks have tons of added sugars, and even protein can, in large amounts, turn that insulin response up, and that's going to contribute to weight gain. Beer, any alcohol, of course, mixed drinks. Wine has a fair amount of that. So if it's sweet especially, it's going to have a higher elevation of insulin. Okay, we have smoothies. They can even be green drinks, but if there's a lot of fruit added to it, for sure. Then we have sports drinks, okay? They're awful. There's tons and tons of high fructose corn syrup, the biggest offender in our culture. So definitely look out for those. And then finally, we have soda, which a lot of people say, well, I don't drink soda, but if you drink the other ones, you're going to have elevated fructose, elevated insulin, and unfortunately, elevated weight. So definitely try to avoid it. Hope this is helpful to give you a better understanding of what's contributing to the weight gain that you may have. You could be trying to starve yourself with some of these things, but it's these things down here, almost 50% from fruit and beverages alone. If you're going to have fruit, lower fructose, lower sugar level fruits, berries, things like that, but definitely avoid these sweet beverages. That'll make a big difference in your weight loss approach, I should say. So thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful. We'll see you in a future video.